off in the woods where it's quiet and no one messes with it. We quickly go back there and catch some big ones. That gator is cool. It's a big old alligator. Willie Edwards is one of the most recognizable characters on the show Swamp People. He is a brave alligator hunter who is always ready to face whatever the Louisiana swamps throw at him. But when Willie wasn't on the hunt or in front of the cameras, he went through something much worse than a fight in the swamp. Come with us as we talk about Willie's terrible events. Willie Edwards' sad stories break your heart. Willie Edwards and his wife, Sherry Bonin Edwards, have been married for a long time. They have built a life together based on love, hard work, and family principles. Little Willie, Landon, and their only daughter Michaela are their 3 kids. Willie taught his boys to love the outdoors and hunting, and they often appear on Swamp People with him. People who watch the show have seen the bond between Willie and his boys get stronger with each season. But few people know that those quiet smiles and determined eyes hide pain. One of Willie and his sons, Michaela Deshay Edwards, is never shown on TV, even though the rest of his family is. Very little is known about Michaela's death, which makes this story even more sad. A lot of things about the Edwards family's life are shown on TV and social media, but this one part of their life stays hidden. Sherry Edwards is usually very open about her family. She posts lots of happy, warm pictures of their life together. But there is a heavy quiet when it comes to Michaela. Soon, more and more people learned that Michaela had died, and Swamp People fans were shocked. A lot of people had no idea she was there. The show hadn't talked about her at all. There is no plot, no tribute, and no reason. But as soon as they heard about her, sadness spread quickly. Thoughts of support started to show up. Even though the family hadn't asked for it, fans from all over the country sent them words of comfort. That's how strong real love is. It speaks even when there is no sound. A lot of people were sad for Willie and his family, even though they didn't know the whole story. This shows how much people care. They might not know what caused it. They might never find out what took place. They know the pain is real, though, and the fact that they had both been through love and loss brought them together. Willie and Sherry have never talked about how Michaela died in public. There has been no chat, post, or memorial on social media, and there has been no episode of the show. Sherry only talked about Michaela in a quiet Facebook post, where she said that Michaela would have been 20 years old in 2020. That one line led to the most sad truth. Their daughter was not there. What's the reason the family has kept this so secret? Some people might be curious, but the answer might be easy. It's a sadness that moves in silence, showing up when no one is around to hear it or laugh with. Willie always seems strong and steady on the show. He doesn't talk much, but when he does, what he says is important. What he does says more about him than what he says. He puts himself in danger every day to teach his kids and work hard. What's really going on is that the father remembers a little girl who never got the chance to grow up. He is strong enough to do more than just catch alligators on the boat in the wild swamp water. To be that strong, you have to have been through the worst kind of heartbreak and still chosen to get up and fight another day. This shows the strength of a man who has been through a lot of pain, but still wants to be there for his family. Sherry Edwards is more active on social media, but she has decided not to talk about Michaela's death. The choice makes a lot of noise without saying anything. She writes a lot about her boys and what they've done. Holidays, family dinners, and other everyday things that make up a good life are important to her. But when it comes to her daughter, everyone stays quiet. There is no forgetfulness in this silence. It's a quiet remembrance that shows how much she loves him and how much she hurts. There are no simple words to comfort a parent who has lost a child. Different people choose to speak and not speak. Both are correct. They both love a lot. Michaela only lived a short time, but she left a mark on her family. Even though no one will ever know her full story, it is clear that she was loved very much. Willie and her parents still think about her and love her, even though they are younger. Her brothers will remember her as the sister who used to live with them and make them laugh. So, Michaela lives on, even though she isn't there. She finds strength in the way her father acts every day, and in the way her mother writes. With the memories of the people who knew her, even if it was only for a short time. Willie or Sherry may also choose to share more in the future, when the time is right. They should keep quiet until then, though. The Louisiana swamp is a great setting for this story. The story is deep, strange, and full of life, but it is also dangerous and full of loss. A lot of people don't like to share their secrets, and the Edwards family has been very good about it. They keep moving forward, slowly and surely, just like the swamp, keeping what's most important close at all times. The swamp will never be the same for Willie Edwards, but every quiet sunrise and movement in the water may remind him of what he has lost. They also remind him of what he has left, his boys, his wife, and the memory of a daughter who will never be forgotten. The man on screen is strong, but he has been through pain that no parent should ever have to go through. He can't say it out loud. He might not talk about Michaela on the show, but her story is a part of him, with a void that never goes away. This is Willie's case, getting rid of a big part of himself. In the Deep South, where Willie and Randy Dale grew up, they were more than just brothers. They were close friends. They didn't just become close overnight. They built it by going on trips together as kids, helping their parents, and learning how to live off the land. Eventually, they took on the gator hunting tradition that had been in their family for generations. They quickly learned how to work together and understand each other's body language, and how to keep each other safe in a world that doesn't give us much time to think. They went hunting together, shared boats, told stories, and sometimes even dreamed together. The Edwards brothers had a rhythm and confidence that can only come from years of hard work. People who watched, swamp people, knew how strong Willie was, but they didn't always see how strong his brother Randy was. He was just as much a part of the family history. Even though Randy wasn't always in front of the cameras, it was still important to have him there. He was as tough as they were and had the same deep respect for their land and customs. He was proud of his background and the work he did with his hands. It's rare and valuable to have that kind of pride. Randy's beautiful life ended way too soon, which breaks my heart. An official statement from Randy's family and a report from the police both say that he was in a major car accident. When he tried to make a left turn in his Chevrolet Silverado on a Louisiana highway, it crashed. Everything changed at that time. When his truck hit a power pole, it was so hard that it flipped over. Randy wasn't wearing a seatbelt when the accident happened, so he was thrown out of the truck. The bruises he got were very bad. Even though first rescuers did their best, Randy's injuries were too bad for them to fix. He died at the scene. He was only 35 years old. That was a moment of complete shock for people who knew Randy. Willie must have felt like he lost a piece of his soul. They had been through a lot together. As kids, they went fishing together, and as adults, they worked late at night, pulling gators out of the water. Randy was gone in the blink of an eye. The sad news was shared on Facebook by the family, writing things that kid or parent should never have to write. The first post was short but very intense. I'm writing this post out of deep sadness. One of Junior and Teresa's kids, Randy, has died. It was clear that those words were spoken out of pain. There was real sadness. Fans from all over the country sent their condolences and thoughts. These fans had grown to respect the Edwards family for being brave and honest. It was even harder to deal with the loss when it was thought that Randy might have been drunk when the man who had been there with him for years and helped him deal with alligators, weather, and everything else was gone. Randy's seat was empty when Willie got in his boat again. Randy wasn't there to welcome him back the next time he made a big catch. When someone dies, there is a quiet that fills the heart, not just the outside world. When you lose a brother, you change. Willie never went into deep depth about how Randy's death hurt him in public, and he was allowed to do that. It's not necessary to tell everyone about every hurt. Still, people who knew the Edwards family could feel how heavy their sadness was. Willie kept going to work and doing what he had to, but his eyes told you everything. That place had a sadness and heaviness that words couldn't describe. Huge and strong is the Edwards family. They have a long history of making it through rough times. But when someone like Randy is lost, even the toughest hearts break. He was more than just a brother, a son, or a gator shooter. He was a part of the Edwards family that made them whole. And after that piece was lost, things would never be the same again. Swamp fans. A lot of people have kept giving the Edwards family messages of love and support. So many people have shared their own stories of loss, which helps them feel better because they know they're not the only ones going through this. It's not often that people have that kind of link, but it shows how much Randy, Willie, and the whole Edwards family have meant to people. These people are more than just TV stars. They are real people who are hurting. Real love and strength for each other. Loss can't be erased by time, but it can teach us how to deal with it. The sadness stays with the memories and the love. In the case of the Edwards, though, the swamp keeps moving. The gators keep coming, the seasons change, and life goes on. Willie keeps working the land he loves, following the ways of his family, and doing the job he was born to do. Even though Randy isn't there with him anymore, his spirit lives on in every hunt, every sunrise over the swamp, and every quiet moment of thought. That kind of love doesn't end. Not even when you die. It's true that Randy Dale Edwards died way too soon, but the people who loved him will always remember him. He was a brother, a son, a friend, and a real Louisiana son. The swamp thinks of him. This brings us to another example of a terrible accident that could have happened to Willie. This time, it's just a story, but rumors have a strange way of sticking around, especially when they involve famous people. There have been some very bad stories about Willie Edwards. Fans have heard a lot of different stories about him over the years. Some said in whispers that he was no longer there. Some people even said that he had died. However, the report that Willie Edwards had cancer was one of the worst.